See, whenever we use the exit function in the program, the functionality of exit function is to terminate the program. Okay. One more thing, is my voice audible for all of you? Just chat and tell, is it clear without any disturbance? Just one of you chat and tell. Okay, fine. So, exit function is used to terminate the program. Okay. Now, if you look at this program, what I have done is, see, just I have used 4 cout statements here. Okay. So in first cout statement, I have written the message C language. In next cout statement, I have written the message C++ language. Yesterday in the class, while I'm explaining, so I said like getCH function you can use anywhere. Okay. So I used getCH function just after the second cout statement. Okay. And one more time after the after all the statements also you can use. That is at the end of the program. So that means getCH function you can use many times. It is not a rule that you have to use one time, and even clear screen function also you can use many times. Okay, and you can use at any part of the program. Just to remember, you start using these functions after the declaration statement. That means if there are any variables to declare after the statement, you start using these statements. Okay. Now for this program, declaration statement is not necessary. Okay. Now if we look at this program, see, first I will tell you, if I don't use getCH function here, what happens, I'll tell you. Okay. See, now when I execute this program, output will be generated, but we cannot see the output. You just observe. You just observe my controls, what I do. See, Alt R, that means execute the program. Run means Control F9. So here I have chosen the option run. When I press enter, see, program is executed. Actually, program is executed now. But we are not looking at the output because getCH function we have used at the end. So if we use getCH function here, what happens is when program control comes to this function, that is exit function, when program control comes to this line exit, program will be terminated. So further the statements cout Java language, cout HTML language, getCH, these 3 lines are not executed. So if these 3 lines are not executed means we cannot see the output. Further output we cannot see. But whatever the statements executed, that is first 2 statements, cout C language, cout C++ language, these 2 statements are executed with output. Now what we have to do is, see, you go to the window option. Okay, in window option there is an option again, zoom. Output. Okay, you can go to this output and you can see the output. See, it is printed C language and C++ language. So 2 messages are printed and program is terminated because exit function is there after 2 cout statement. Exit function is there. So because of this function, program is terminated. So what we have to do is, if I write the getCH function here, that is immediately after the second cout statement. Okay, you just see here. So I'll write the getCH function here, getCH. Okay. So getCH function I will write here. Now one more time I will execute the program. You just look into the execution part. See, output is generated. So that means in 2 cases also output is generated, but in the first case where I have written getCH at the end of the program, there we were not able to see the output. So once again we have to go to the window option, output option, window menu, output option. But here when I used getCH function immediately after the second cout statement, so we are going to see the output immediately. See, you just look at this output, C language, C++ language. After that, exit function is executed, so program is terminated. So further these 2 statements, that is cout and cin, these 2 statements are not executed. Okay. Now, so look here, we will see line by line execution. Okay. And see, when you use getCH function here, that is immediately after the second cout statement, anyways exit function is there. So if exit function is there means further the statements are not executed. That is cout 2 statements and getCH. So no need of using getStage function once again at the end, because anyways it is not executed. So we can remove that. Okay. So now we will see line by line execution. Okay. Okay. So this is the main function. Okay. Main program is executed. Then clear screen. Okay. So the message C language, it is printed on the screen. Okay. Again the message C++ language, so it is printed on the screen. Now program control is in getCH function. So whenever program control comes to the function called getCH, that is get the character, immediately it will move to the console screen, that is the black screen. There it will wait for us to type the character from the keyboard. Okay. So once we type the character from the keyboard, next part of this statements are executed. You just observe here. See, it has come to the console screen. So you remember cout statement, cin statement, getCH function. Three statements are there: cout, cin, getCH. These three functions, or we can say cout and cin statements and getCH function, will take the control to the console screen, that is black screen. So whatever it is looking here. Okay. Again, one more time I will tell you: cout statement, cin statement, getCH. So these three functions will take program control to the console screen. That means immediately we will come to the console screen. For cout, the message will be displayed. For cin, it will wait for the user to type the value. For getCH also, it will wait for the user to type the character. Okay. So once we type the character, see, now you observe, I press enter, it will come back. Now exit function is there. After that, exit function is there. So whenever program control comes to the exit function, the statements present after the exit function are not executed. So there only it will terminate. You just observe it. See, it is terminated. Program is terminated. So I think you people have observed the message cout Java language, cout HTML language. Their program control did not reach. Correct? You once again will execute. You just observe. Last two statements: cout Java language, cout HTML language. Their program control will not reach. Okay, you just observe here one more time. Main function, clear screen, C language. Okay. C++ language. Okay. Okay. Now getCH is there. It has come to the console screen, as I said. Next. Here you have to observe carefully. So exit function is there. Immediately when program control executes this exit function, it will come out of the program. See, end. So cout Java language, cout HTML language is not displayed. I think for all of you, people have understood. So any doubts still? So if you have any doubts, you can tell. Or if you want me to explain once again, you can tell. Is it clear for all of you about exit function? Yes, okay, fine. Okay. So now, what is stdio.h? Standard input output header file it is. Okay. So it is called as standard input output header. So it is used in C language. Okay. As well as if we want to use in C++ also, it is fine. But generally in C++ we will not use. HTML is a programming language, hypertext markup language. Okay. HTML is a programming language, that is hypertext markup language. Java is also a language. Okay. So C, C++, Java, HTML, these are all called as programming languages. Okay. So now we will move to the nested for concept. So I will share the screen and I will explain, because here I'm sitting in the classroom, board will be not visible properly. Okay. So I will share the screen, you can understand. Okay. You just see. Okay, fine. Is this screen visible for all of you? See, whatever I was supposed to explain on the board, I'm explaining with some diagram. Okay, so you just observe. Okay, fine. Okay. So here coming to the nested for concept, we have discussed, but still one more time I will explain with syntax example and all, because it's not so easy to understand this concept. Okay. So look here, you just observe this screen in the first form. So I have written for expression 1, exp1 means expression 1, expression 2, expression 3. Next for expression 4, expression 5, expression 6. Next statement. So that is the first one. Please don't touch the mobile. So don't write anything on the screen, just observe the screen. Okay. If you want to zoom it in your mobile so that to appear in bigger font size, you can do it, but be careful. If you write something on the screen, it will be disturbance. Okay. So just observe here in the second form for expression 1, expression 2, expression 3, expression 4, expression 5, expression 6. If you observe the first and second form, 99% it is same. Only difference is opening brace and closing brace have put. For the second loop, I have put opening brace and closing brace. So that is the way of writing. Okay. So working functionality of first and second form both are same, and even the third form also. In the third form, what I have done for expression 4, expression 5, expression 6, statement 1 to n I have written. Okay. So statement 1 to n means many statements you can write within second form. Okay. Now you just observe this explanation. exp1 means expression 1, exp2 means expression 2, in that way. So 6 expressions are there. Out of these 6 expressions, expression 1 and 4 are called as initialization steps. That is, you have to give the initial value to the variable. Okay. Expression 2 and 5 are called as conditional steps. So you have to mention the condition at expression 2 and expression 5. Expression 3 and 6 are called as increment or decrement steps. Either you have to increment the value of the variable or you have to decrement the value of the variable, depending on the situation. Okay. See, here I have written the explanation. exp1, assign initial value to the variable of the first loop. exp4, assign initial value of the variable, to a variable of the second loop. So for first for loop, we use one variable. For second for loop, we use another variable. So we have to mention neatly, first for loop variable, second for loop variable. Next, condition of the first loop, expression 2, expression 5, condition of the second loop, expression 3, increment or decrement of the first loop, expression 6, increment or decrement of the second loop. So here we have to mention variable of the first loop, variable of the second loop, condition of the first loop, condition of the second loop, increment or decrement of the first loop, increment or decrement of the second loop. Okay, next. If you look at this some explanation, exp1 is executed only once. Okay. That means expression 1 is executed only once. So throughout nested for, it is executed only once. When it comes to expression 4, exp4 is executed each time when program control enters the second loop. So this is very, very, very important. You have to remember this concept. Expression 4, initialization step of a second for loop will be executed each time when program control enters the second loop. Okay, so that you have to remember. Now, coming to the working of this, you just look at this working. See, if you look at the numbers here, what I have put in the circles, that indicates execution steps. Okay, because see, when we execute the nested for loop in Turbo C editor, and if we trace the program by using trace into option, that is F7 key, you will observe the program control. Fine, but program control will be displayed for entire one line, entire for loop, one line, and second loop also. There we cannot notice which statement is executed after which statement. There we cannot notice. So for that purpose, what we have to do is, see, here you observe the numbers I have put in the circles. Okay, exp1. So exp1 indicates expression 1. So there I have put the digit 1 in circle. So that is the first step of execution. Next, second step of execution is expression 2. See, particularly for this format, for this nested for, third step of execution is expression 4. You observe the number in the circle I have put. Expression 4 is the third step of execution. Fourth step of execution is expression 5. Fifth step is all the statements of the second loop. So this is very, very important. All the statements of the second loop are executed. That is the fifth step of execution. Okay. Sixth step is expression 6, that is increment or decrement of the second loop. Okay. Next, this after expression 6, you just look at the arrow mark. I have put for the expression 5 also. That is, again, you have to check the condition of the second loop. If it is true, again these statements are executed. This process will be repeated. Okay. Fourth step, fifth step, and sixth step. Fourth, fifth, and sixth. This process is repeated. So until condition of the second loop becomes false. So immediately, if expression 5, that is condition, becomes false, you just observe it will go to the expression 3. That is the seventh step of execution. After seventh step, again it will come for the second step, because condition of the first for loop. Okay, and this process keeps repeating. You just observe the numbers in circles and you have to follow the steps. Second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. So fourth, fifth, sixth are repeated. Once fourth step becomes false, we go for the seventh. Again come to second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh. Like this, this process keeps on repeating until the condition of the first loop, that is expression 2, becomes false. Once expression 2 is false, then for loop stops. But whereas if you observe the first step, what I put in circle, expression 1, it is executed only once. Okay, so only I have written here. See, expression 1 is executed only once, whereas expression 4 is executed each time when program control enters the second loop. So this is very, very important. Expression 4 is executed each time when program control enters the second loop. Okay, I hope you people got it. So if you have any doubt with respect to this syntax and explanation, you ask now only, because further I will go to the example. So example also I will share the screen and I will explain. So for half minute or 1 minute I will wait. You just think over it. If you have any doubt, you ask. If you want me to explain once again, I will explain this syntax. You just start and tell. Because it's very, very important for two-dimensional array, which comes in next chapter. So explain once again. Okay, fine. We'll do it. Okay. And with respect to program, I will explain. Definitely, I will explain with execution only. But once again, I will explain theoretically. You just try to understand. It's very, very easy. First thing is you just observe these numbers what I have put in the circles. Okay, that only indicates the execution steps. Numbers what I have put in the circles, that only it indicates execution steps. Okay. So expression 1 means nothing but first step of execution in the nested loop. Okay, that is nested for loop. After the first step, you observe the number 2, which I put in circle, that is the expression 2, condition of the first loop. Next, you observe the number, third step, that is expression for initial value of the second for loop. Okay. After third step, you observe the fourth step, which I put in circle, that is the condition of the second loop. Okay. Then after fourth step, you observe the number which I put in circle. That is, all the statements of the second loop are executed. Statement 1 to n. Okay, one after the other. Statement 1, statement 2, statement 3, up to n number of statements. These statements are executed. After execution of statements only, it will move to the sixth step. That is, increment or decrement of the second loop. So after sixth step, again it will come to the fourth step. See, if you consider one for loop or two for loop or multiple for loops or multiple loops, after condition, statements will be executed. After statements, increment or decrement. After increment or decrement, again condition. So this process is common in all the loops, whether it is nested for, nested while loop, nested do while loop, or single for loop, single while loop, single do loop, do while loop. This process is common. Common in the sense, condition, statements, increment. Condition, statements, increment. So fourth, fifth, sixth steps are repeated until condition becomes false. So once the condition is false, you just look at the arrow mark. I have written FC. F means false. So once expression 5 becomes false, you will go to the seventh step. That is expression 3. Okay, that is increment or decrement of the first loop. After that, we will come to the condition again. That is the condition of the first loop. So once the condition of the first loop is true, again this process repeats. That is 3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6 will be repeated. Again 7. Again we come to the second step. So after second, again third step. 3, 4, 5, 6. In this way, it keeps on repeating. So once condition of the first loop becomes false, then it stops. Okay. I hope people got it. Understood? Anybody still have doubt about this? or it is clear? Just start and tell. So if it is clear, we will go for the example part. Okay. Okay, fine. So now I will share the example part for you. Okay. Okay. So I think example is visible for you. Okay, is it visible on the screen? Okay, fine. See, here you look at this example, how I have written. So this is the example, okay? For I is equals to 1, you have to observe that I have taken two variables here, I and j, okay? And variables, what we take, it is in our hand. You can take I and j or p, q, m, n, a, b, or x, y, z, like anything you can take as a variable. But generally, as the programmers, what they have done is, like, if one loop is there, we take the variable I. If two loops are there, I and j. If three loops are there, I, j, k, like that. Okay, it is not a rule. You can take any variable, but let us follow that habit. Okay, whatever it is done by the programmers. So you just observe this example. For I is equals to 1, I less than or equals to 3, I plus plus, j is equals to 1, j less than or equals to 3, j plus plus. Okay. Here two variables have taken I and j. So I is referred to the first for loop, j is referred to the second for loop. Okay, and I less than or equals to 3, condition of the first for loop, j less than or equals to the condition of the second for loop. Condition can be same or different. It's in our hand, depends on the program. Okay, and I plus plus, increment of the first for loop, j plus plus is the increment of the second for loop. Okay, you observe the output. So output is 1 1 1 2 1 3, 2 1 2 2 2 3, 3 1 3 2 3 3. I will explain how it has come. Okay, you just look at this tracing part. Okay, so when we come to the tracing part, okay, see how you have to understand is, just you have to remember this concept, that is, first initial value of the first loop, it is executed, I is equals to 1. Then immediately after initial value is assigned, you check the condition, I less than or equals to 3. So once the condition is true, come to the second loop. So see, when you trace the nested for loop, you follow this method. Okay, not normal method. That means what we have done is just line by line we have written the tracing. Just follow this method. So this method means it is very easy to understand. You put one column for one loop, second column for the second loop, and whatever the calculations are there, you put such as operations. If it is cout, cin, or any calculations are there, you just make it as one column as operations. So immediately after the first column, you come to the second column, because j loop you have to execute. So j loop, how many times you have to execute means, until condition becomes false. You just observe here, j is equals to 1, 1 less than or equals to 3, again j plus plus, 2 less than or equals to 3, j plus plus, 3 less than or equals to 3, j plus plus, 4 less than or equals to 3. So for 4 less than or equals to 3, condition is false. Till condition becomes false, you just keep on executing this loop. Okay, you see the increment what you have done. So j plus plus is there. J plus plus means each time, that means one time you have to increase. So from j is equals to 1, you have to go to j equals to 2. From j is equals to 2, you have to go for the j is equals to 3. For j is equals to 3, you have to go for j is equals to 4. Each time what you have to do, you have to consider this cout statement. See, this cout statement you have to consider. In cout statement, nothing big you have done, just you have displayed value of I and j. So I is equals to 1, j is equals to 1. Okay, so it will print like 1 1 1 2 1 3 first time. So once j loop is false, you go to the I loop. You just look at this arrow mark what I have put. So I have come to the I loop. You increase the I value. So I value becomes 2. You check the condition, 2 less than or equals to 3. So condition is 2. Again you come to the j loop, because whenever you execute the first loop condition, if it is true, you have to come to the second loop and start from the first. Starting from the first is again j is equals to 1. So 1 less than or equals to 3, 2 less than or equals to 3, 3 less than or equals to 3, 4 less than or equals to 3. Okay. So till j value becomes 4, you have to execute. And whenever the condition is true, you print I and j. So that is 2 1, 2 2, 2 3. Because I value is 2. You look at the columns, you will come to know the values. You look at the I column, I is 2. You look at the j column, j is equals to 1, j is equals to 2, j is equals to 3. So 2 1, 2 2, 2 3. So once it is done, again you have to come for the I loop. So this process will be repeated until I loop becomes false. Okay, until I loop becomes false. Okay, Now observe the third round. I is equals to 3, 3 less than or equals to 3, condition is true. J is equals to 1, 1 less than or equals to 3, true. 2 less than or equals to 3, condition is true. 3 less than or equals to 3, condition is true. 4 less than or equals to 3, condition is false. But for J is equals to 1, J is equals to 2, J is equals to 3, condition is true, right? So it prints the value 3, 1, 3, 2, 3, 3. Okay. Again, you look at this arrow mark. Once J loop is false, you go to the I loop. I plus plus I is equals to 4. 4 less than or equals to 3. Condition is false. Okay. So program control comes out of the nested loop structure. That means total nested for loop will terminate. Okay. It will not go to the J loop to execute once again. So this is how nested loop is executed. So output will be in this way: 1 1 1 2 1 3, 2 1 2 2 2 3, 3 1 3 2 3 3. That means just it prints the I value and J value. Okay. Whenever I value is 1, J value is 1. I value is 1, J value is 2. I value is 1, J value is 3. Again, I is 2, J is 1. I is 2, J is 2. I is 2, J is 3. Again, 3 1 3 2 3 3. So in this way it is printed. Okay. Now we shall execute this program in the editor so that will come to know. First of all, I hope everyone understood this concept. So still, if you have any doubt, you can ask. See, whenever you trace the program with respect to nested for loop, you just follow this method. It will be very easy for you to trace the program. You put one column for I, another column for J, next for operations. Okay. You start from I loop, initial value, condition, come to the J loop, initial value, condition, operations, increment, again condition, operations, increment, again condition, operations. So in this way, once J loop becomes false, go to the I column, increase the I value there, come to the J value. Okay. So when J loop becomes false, go to the I loop. When I loop becomes false, at the end, the program control comes out of the nested loop structure. Okay. So understood everybody? So just chat and tell. If you have any doubt in this, let me discuss once again. Is it clear for all? Okay. So I will show in the editor screen this program. Okay. Okay, fine. So I will show it in the editor screen. We'll see the output of this program. Okay. Is the editor screen visible? Fine. So we'll discuss here. Okay. So we look at the program. So I have written for loop for I is equals to 1, I less than or equals to 3, I plus plus. Then J is equals to 1, J less than or equals to 3, J plus plus. Then C out. So I backslash T, J backslash N. That means you print the value of I and J by leaving some space. Backslash T will leave some space. Okay. And first line is the comment. So program to demonstrate nested for. So this is the comment. Okay. We will execute this program. See here. Error is there. Just a minute. So little bit some mistake is there in the program. So let us discuss in the next class. Okay, so I will rectify this code. Okay, we'll discuss in the next class. So I will when I share the notes. So even this tracing part also I will share it. You can look at the tracing part and try to understand the nested for loop. So in the next class we will discuss one or two examples of nested for loop. Okay. Okay, fine.